Hi, I'm Crystal.
Hi, I'm Joe.
Hi, Joe. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
So talk to me.
What do you want to know?
Whatever you want to tell me.
I'm Joe.
Uh-huh.
I'm in therapy.
Well, let me ask you, have you ever been in therapy before?
You know, once or twice when I was younger, because I had some issues, like some adjustment issues with my family. My father was an alcoholic for a long time, and when I was a kid, things were really difficult. So we did a little family therapy, but I was like 12 or 13, and it was really just them kind of checking us out, right? We were all in the same room and just talking about what it was like, and I don't know, nothing really happened after that. And then I tried it once. I was, in my 20s. I was feeling a little bit, down. Somebody said go to therapy. I went to therapy, and the guy that I was there, the first thing he said to me was, "What's your problem?" And I was like, "I don't have a problem." That was it. So I just kind of left, and I haven't really been back.
So you haven't really. So is it fair to say that you don't really feel had a good experience with what counseling has been thus far in your life?
The hardest part has been, like, I'm here because they told me to be here. They sent me here. This is a part of this was a part of, if you looked in the paperwork that I had to fill out, they sent me here. It was either go to therapy or they were going to put me in like a facility, they were going to make me do some program for some issues.
It's good that you say that, because I went through your intake packet, your initial packet, and I did read a lot of things. And I have to say, you've been through quite a lot,
Yeah.
I'm a parent myself, and I think, it is a lot to process with all the things you've been through, right? So I do appreciate you, even though they're mandating you to come here, that you are taking the time to come and just see what this whole experience can be about. Before we start, even though we already started, I wanted to just let you know that, like you, I'm a parent, and I've been doing this for 5 years. My goal is to help you on your journey, and that journey changes for everyone. Sometimes it's going to be longer than others. My goal is to hopefully make a connection so that you feel like you're in a safe place to address these issues that you're having, or comments or feedback or anything that you really need to address in your lifestyle right now, because the goal is to help you get where you need to be. I don't know if when you've met with other clinicians before, if they've talked to you a little bit about what it means to be in therapy.
I guess I'm supposed to come here and talk about my problems and my feelings to try to get over some of this stuff, but you want to talk about my problems? I mean, you can talk about happened, and you want to talk about my feelings? Well, I'm pissed off and angry and upset and guilty and mad and ashamed and hurt and fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, what? Go through what I went through. Why wouldn't you be? So you want to talk about that? Like, are we going to fix that here? Is that what we're going to do?
Well, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do whatever you allow us to do. At the end of the day, this is your journey. Okay. I want to help support you get where you need to be. And the reality is that everything you went through, messed up shit. I agree with you. And excuse me for cursing, but I just feel like it's something you needed to hear.
Let's get that out of the way, right? Everyone swears. I don't care. I'm not here for tea parties and cupcakes. You know what I mean? No. I'm here. Might as well make
to kind of figure it out. And the reality is I want you to know that therapy can be very successful for a lot of people, but always finding the right person. So we can have a conversation today, and if you don't feel comfortable working with me, that's fine. I definitely want to help support you and get where you need to be and find comfort in the right person, because you're going to benefit a lot off of coming here if you're really true to yourself and true to really what you need. What you need to recognize, and what I want you, if anything, to walk away is that you don't have a problem. Your family went through a significant amount of trauma trying to you know, and as a parent, we have this persona and this role to protect our family.
Yeah, and I failed at that. Let's just start right there. I failed at that. I failed to protect my family. I failed to protect my son. I failed to uphold everything that a parent is supposed to do. I failed. How do you make this promise, right, to look at this kid and say, I'm going to take care of you, and you fail. You're not there at a time when everything about parenting and every message and everything you want and every hope and every dream and everything gets dashed, trashed, thrown away, disregarded, shit on because of a choice that I made.
Well, elaborate a little bit more to me about what you mean you failed as a parent.
Well, I mean, you read in the packet, you know what happened to my kid, and I failed to protect it because it was in the next room. I was asleep. I went to sleep, and it was after a party, and you know, we had some people over, and I was tired, and the party was still kind of going on, so I put in some earplugs so that the noise wouldn't disrupt me, and I put in earplugs, and it kept me, because I'm normally a light sleeper, you know, so it kept me from waking up. And of all the nights where I should have been woken up by noise, where I could have been woken up by noise, where I would have been woken up by noise, I wasn't. And what happened on that one night? That. So how is that a failure? How is that not just a complete and utter failure? Like, I made a choice, and look what happened.
This is if you dare to let me explore. I know I don't want you to think I'm taking away from what you just said, but bear with me in this little exercise.
Okay.
I want to, before we get to this, right, to your presenting why you feel like a failure, help me to understand what happened, right? Because I read your intake, and it was very brief, very matter of fact, you know. It didn't talk too much about details if you feel comfortable talking about that. But I'm just curious.
Like what?
The incident that took place in the other room.
Yeah.
Who was the person?
A friend of my ex. Well, we're not together anymore because of stuff that happened, but of my ex friend. And
how long did you know that friend?
Not my friend.
Well, at the time, were you guys ever friendly prior to this incident?
All right, so
let's go back a little bit.
He's more a friend of my ex, who they worked together, right? And so he needed a place to stay for a little while, right? Because he had fought with his girlfriend or his wife or whatever.
How long did he know your ex and your friends?
Like
How long were they
friends?
Okay.
Like 2 years. And so they knew each other pretty well. And they hung out, they were drinking buddies, they were whatever, they had a friendship. And so I met this kid and I was like, all right, he's okay, nice guy, right? A little on the immature side, but nothing that young people are like, like not, clearly not the pervy kind of, so I thought, right? So they were friends for a couple of years, and then there was a bunch of people in the house. There was like 10 or 15.
What was going on in the
just
house?
Like a party, like a house party. Like, just bought this house, celebrate, you know what I mean? Big achievement, big dream, right? And you buy the house, you have some people over, and then people leave, and then there's like the group that hangs out later. And then you're down to this core group. You know how it gets.
Yeah.
Like you have a campfire, you do
But let me ask you something about the friend at the time.
Yeah.
The friend, right?
Yeah.
Was he staying here for some time?
So that particular night, he had, let me map it out for you. That particular night, he had drunk way too much.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, you drink too much, you're not going to drive, you're not going to, so like being the responsible person that I am, I'm like, cool, there's a couch downstairs, like, why don't you just crash out and be okay with that? Well, the next morning, I found him like sleeping outside
Of the house?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got up and I noticed he was outside, and I'm just gonna get a Kleenex. And so he's sleeping outside, and I thought it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he told me that the next day that like he went to go to the bathroom and got lost and ended up outside and was drunk or whatever, and so he ended up sleeping outside. Well, there's a bathroom, you know.
2 here.
Right there.
Yeah.
So like, but I'm okay. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
I get it. I went with that. So like a week later, he had this fight with his girlfriend or his wife or whoever she was, and needed a place to go. So my ex was like, "Can he stay here for a couple days?" And I was like, "Okay, sure." So he was here about a week, and then left in a quick hurry to go back to his girlfriend. We'll just call her girlfriend or whatever. So then I'm at work, and my boss came to get me from the job site and was like, "Okay, well, you need to come with me." I was like, "Oh shit, I'm in some kind of trouble, like I had done something." Well, no. Then they brought me into this room and told me that my son had told his friend, who told her mom, who called the school, who called the police, who called me, that this guy had done these things to my son. Had done these.
At that point, did you even know what guy they were talking about?
They gave me his name,
Right away.
so I
Okay.
knew. So I knew who it was. But I lost my shit right there. And since that point, I haven't really been right. And I mean, I probably drink too much now. Like, I can't even. So what am I gonna do? It's easy to drink. It's easy to smoke weed. It's easy to. You know, like, you're supposed to be there for your kid. So if you're not there for your kid, it makes you a failure. Well, I'm a failure. So guess what? Nothing else really matters, does it?
All right. So you touched upon a lot of. Thank you for giving me the clarity as to the situation that led up to where we are today. Now, my question to you is, after you became aware of what happened to your son, what happened with the perp? Let's call him the perp.
The
that's
perp.
what they say.
So police and police reports and DA and investigation and court and more DA and more court, and eventually this guy went to jail. And I'm just like, I'm gonna tell you now, like, there's so much more to it, but I can't really think, because I'm gonna tell you, I took a couple Valium before I came in here just to kind of deal, right? So I'm being honest with you, because that's what you do when you go to therapy, is you tell people what your problems are. So, you know, like, take a taxi home or whatever. You don't have to call the police because I'm intoxicated or whatever, but...
Well, there's a few things that I want to...
Can't deal, man. Can't deal.
I could imagine. I could imagine where you are in life right now.
Where am I in life? I'll tell you where I am right now. I can't work, so I had to take a whole bunch of time off from work. I had to beg for time off, and basically...
Why can't you take time off?
Why?
Or why did you need to take time off?
Why did I need to take time off?
After the incident,
like
just to deal with...
I can't think. I can't work. Like, who gives a shit about work? Who wants to go to work and work all day when it's like, you just don't know. You don't know. Every waking second, you're consumed by the thought that the one responsibility, the biggest responsibility you have, you said you're a parent. Imagine not protecting your kid. Imagine standing by while something terrible happened to your kid and you not being there, and then you finding out about it, knowing full well you were no further from where you're sitting to that chair right there.
I would be feeling
and
the
you
same
couldn't
way. Stop
it. So you tell me how I'm supposed to go to work, how I'm supposed to, like, go about my day and earn a paycheck and, like, make people happy and make, like, nothing matters. you know. And so I have this kid who's all kinds of broken down, and then I got this
well,
kid
let's stop right there for a second.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your kid.
Yeah.
Now, I know you talked to me about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
From your drinking, so now you feel like you're drinking more, right? As a result of this. Because you don't want to deal with what's going on, or it's just you have this guilt. It's just a lot to hang over your head. Do you feel like it helps you when you drink or when you're taking these values?
No, listen, nothing's helping. Like, what's gonna help me? Like, let's talk about help. What do you define help? Help is it make me feel better? No. Does it take away? Does it fix anything? No. Is it gonna unmolest my son? No. But does it make me forget for a little while that I wasn't there and didn't stop him and didn't protect my son, and when my son needed me the most, I wasn't there? Does that change any of that? No. Does it help me not think about it? Yes. That's it. It helps me not think about it.
How often would you say you are drinking, and how often would you say you're self-medicating to feel comfortable in your skin?
Comfortable in my skin is not, I don't want to feel comfortable in my skin. I don't want to feel anything. So?
You want to feel numb?
Every day. Every day. Why not? Every day.
Let's talk about your son.
Okay.
So when was your son born?
July 17th, 2000 at 7:20 in the morning.
Wow. And how did you feel the first time you saw your son being born?
Like I didn't own my heart anymore.
No.
Like I didn't own my heart anymore. Like in that moment, I didn't own my heart anymore. It was in that little 4-pound, yellow, jaundiced, incubated child of mine. I just didn't own my heart anymore. My life had a purpose. It had a...
What was the purpose?
My son. Like, that was it. Like, it wasn't anymore, you have to protect that infant who doesn't know anything. Like, it's a tremendous responsibility to have to be the caregiver for another human being.
Absolutely.
Like, protection and love and showing them everything and keeping them safe. Like, don't touch the stove, it's hot. Like, don't do that, it's bad for you. Like, look out for bad people, don't go anywhere with strangers. Well, guess what? Not all the bad people are strangers. Sometimes the people in your own house.
It is unfortunate, and that is very true in what you said. Now, think about when your son was a baby, right? Do you think things were easier, you know, modeling and teaching him and supervising him as a young baby as opposed to as he got older? Because it requires so much of you there, in the moment, in the now, right? Do you get what I'm saying to you?
I think, speaking to when he was a baby, I did the best job that I could. So was it easy? I didn't know what I was doing. All I know is that you just do. You respond. Being a parent is a lot about responding.
Were you always a single parent, or?
So
talk to me a little bit about that.
Till my son was about 7, we were a 2-parent household, and then there was some issues, and then all of a sudden I was on my own with this kid. It was like, no, here you go, you do it.
Making you even more overprotective and guarded for your baby, right?
Yeah, overprotective's a good word. But look what happened when I'm not overprotective. Look what happened. You know, you say, give yourself, permission. Give yourself permission. Give yourself permission. Like, it's okay. Like, let them grow. Let them experience the world. Well, you know what? I backed down and look what happened.
I think what you're feeling, Joe, is very normal. I think it's hard to move forward when you've had this position on you forever, to always be the person to save and protect your son, and in that instance you weren't able to. I think it's even more easy for me to say to you that We only are in control of our own actions.
But you're
Mm-hmm.
that, all of that's wonderful. All
Mm-hmm.
of that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
All of that's great. You can say all of those things. I'm not in control. I'm this and that.
Mm-hmm.
None of that removes the responsibility that I failed to uphold. None of that is going to change it. None of that is going to take any of these thoughts out of my head. None of that is going to change the message that's in my head. You did not protect your son was assaulted. You did not protect your son was assaulted. You did not protect your son was assaulted. You did not protect your son. Think about it. Think about your own child, right? Think about the children or child you said you have, about that happening to them and you not stopping it. Think about that. And I bet in your head that you can think about it to a certain degree, but your brain is saying, I can't think about that fully. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that happening to my child. I can't imagine that going on. And your brain's not going to let you think about the pain and the agony and the shame and the guilt and all of those things that come with it. Your brain's not going to let you think about that, but guess what? That's my real life. That's the difference. So you can say these things to me, but it doesn't change the fact. It doesn't
that he was assaulted.
It doesn't change that.
We can
fact.
put that in the air. You said it numerous times. Your son was assaulted.
He was.
And that was horrible what happened to your son.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, would you have allowed that to happen? Absolutely not. In a perfect world.
No, but it happened in my house.
Of course.
So.
But let's retract some things. I'm not gonna try to make you feel like and I'm not gonna put this on you to think that what could you have done different? What could you have done better? So at the end of the day, we don't have control over other people's actions. You put your best thought in the people you allowed in your home, right? Because did this hurt?
What does that say about my judgment?
No. It says a lot.
What does that say about my judgment?
It says that, I'm going to tell you what it says about your judgment. You thought that you were under the impression that you were around for yourself and your family safe people.
Mm-hmm.
Because this person, how did he ever present with you?
Safe.
What are all the things that he's done in a positive way for your family? These were things you didn't look at this person as this monster. Ever. Did that ever even cross your mind?
No.
And you know why it never crossed your mind? Because he never presented in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you knew this person or any person was presenting to you in a way that made you feel weird inside, what would you have done in that moment? Would you have let him come in your house?
No.
Would you have let him be around your family?
No.
Would you have even extended an invitation to a party?
No.
So while it's easy, and like you said, it is easy for anyone to say that your feeling of failure is very real. Your feeling of failure for you hasn't changed because in your mind and in your heart, you failed. And I can recognize that and you own that. I'm not here and I'm not gonna make you think that in that moment you take away that feeling that you really feel so strong about. What I want to help, if anything, is help you see a different way, because let's talk about...
What way is there?
Well, this is what I was thinking about exploring with you.
I don't know. I need a break.
You need a break?
I need
Okay.
a break. I
No
need a break.
problem.
I'm just going to take a break. I need to step out for a minute. Things are feeling a little heavy. I'll be right back.
Do you want me to get you some water while you come back?
That'd be great.
Okay.